Brendan Fraser is being pitted as the frontrunner for the Best Actor Oscar. And another two Oscar nominations for this one. Let's talk about The Whale. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews just like this one here at the weekend. All of my movie reviews are spoiler free, and I will leave a playlist of my recent reviews linked up above. This video will also go into my Oscars playlist, because every year I do like to try and watch as many of the Oscar nominated films, shorts, animations, non-English language, what is it, foreign language film that it's called now? I can't remember. They changed the title of that one. So I do like to watch my Oscar films as much as I can. It's definitely harder in the UK than it is in the US. So this video will be going into that Oscars week playlist. But yes, Brendan Fraser is nominated as Best Actor in a Leading Role Oscar. It is also nominated for Hair and Makeup, and then we have a Best Actress in a Supporting Role Oscar. Now I can see why all three of these Oscar nominations have come about. I also thought that it might have gone into a sound editing Oscar category. I don't know if it was long listed for that or not, because the sound in this film is really quite interesting. So this is a film based on a play. I have seen other reviews talk about the fact that this play was not great, but it's interesting because when you're watching it, it's all set in basically just one set in Charlie's apartment. I think he's called Charlie. I want to say he's called Charlie. He's called Charlie? I think he's called Charlie. Have I just given him a complete different name? In Brendan Fraser's apartment. Then it's literally all set there, and there's a window that goes along a sort of terrace to the front door of the apartment, and you see people walking in front of the window as they're coming to the door and leaving. And so that's what to me felt like it was a play as opposed to a film. And then the fact that it's all takes place in the one set, and we just sort of see this set from different angles, and people have to come into his world in order to be included in the film. So it does have quite a claustrophobic feel about it, which I think is meant to be as a nod to the original stage show, but also give that feeling of being trapped like our main character is, because our main character is morbidly obese and is not able to move very far, is not able to do a lot of things for himself. He teaches online because that means that he doesn't have to move. He keeps his camera off because that means that nobody's judging him whilst he's teaching, and people do literally have to come to him, keep telling him to go to the hospital because he's really not very well at all, but he's refusing to go for reasons we find out in the film. We sort of learn about his life throughout the film. It's very much like a play or a book would have been written, where we are drip fed information throughout the film, and it's quite slow paced. So it definitely goes along with a lot of these Oscar nominated films in that the pace is slow and it's quite sort of quiet and sedate. But then the other thing that adds to that kind of trapped claustrophobic feeling that the main character has for you as an audience is the sound. So there's a lot of kind of elevated, increased volume sound when our main character is kind of trying to move around and do things in his apartment. So getting into bed, going and getting showered, getting up and going and getting something, dropping something and trying to retrieve it with a grabber, and then when he eats. So the fact that obviously our character is morbidly obese and doesn't go out, it means he orders takeout most of the time, and so when he comes to eat, we kind of have these exaggerated eating noises along with kind of grunts and shifts and things like that, and that kind of adds to that feeling of, you know, being there with him, but also this kind of disgust that he has for himself, and this disgust that he projects that other people have to him as well. There's various characters that come in and he sort of says, do I disgust you? Do you find this disgusting? Do you find what I am disgusting? Whether he's talking about his body or whether he's talking about the way he's chosen to live his life and the changes and choices that he's made in his life, which again, I'm not going to spoil, and sort of come about throughout the film. It's a really depressing film. Like, I was expecting there to be some sort of kind of, or the moral of this story, or the uplifting moment of this story. And it is a really depressing film. You know that this character is not in a good way. It's like when you read a book and you know what's going to happen right at the end, and so you're just kind of waiting for the inevitable to happen. And so it's really depressing, and it's not the kind of film that you want to really see on a cold Sunday afternoon as like a date afternoon film. Picked the wrong film for this to go and actually take someone to the cinema with me. Didn't work. So it's really difficult because I came away just feeling so like deflated and so low. I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. It's very different from a lot of things that I've watched, and you can very much tell that it's a play. A bit like some of those ones that Denzel Washington's attached to, because it's a small set and it's a small cast and it feels very claustrophobic and it feels very sort of like this to script kind of thing, which, you know, movies often feel very different from plays because they're not to a script to that extent, because there's some direction in there and there's some other people having things happen rather than just being dialogue. And so, yeah, that felt kind of, I came away really not knowing what to think about it. And I think because not a lot happens, we see it, it starts on either a Tuesday or Wednesday and finishes on the Friday. And yeah, so Samantha Morton has this very small but very impactful role as his ex-wife. And then his sort of best friend, Liz, who is a nurse, has this really kind of like yin to his yang role as like a supporter and a, you know, let's do something about this, let's try and help you with this, let's try and, you know, make life a bit better. And I really like their roles, definitely. But then there's another two characters in there who are very sort of unlikable and do have an impact on him in a very short space of time, but I really didn't like when they were on the screen, because I just felt like something bad was going to happen aside from the big bad thing that was going to happen. And then there's other points where it's like, well, this essay that he keeps coming back to, he's a writing teacher, and so he reads a lot of essays, and he keeps going back to this essay, and there's a point at the film where we see him pleasuring himself to some porn, and then there's a point in the film where he gets a wheelchair, and you kind of think those things are going to lead to something else. Now, the essay does have a point, and it comes back through to it, but it comes up so many times in the film, you kind of think that there's going to be something really, really significant to it, and it felt like a bit like a kind of like anticlimax when we found out why it was significant to him. And then the wheelchair, nothing really happens with that. You think maybe it'll be a key to something with a bit more freedom, and it isn't really. And then the kind of like scene where he's masturbating is just like oh, that happened, okay, scene. Which, yeah, I'm just like, I think that there could have been some more done with it. In terms of the hair and makeup Oscar nomination, I do think it's a valid nomination. In terms of his acting nomination, like I say, he's favourite to win the Oscar. A lot of people are finding it very controversial that he's in this fat suit, that he has all these prosthetics. But I think that that's part of it. It's cinema, it's movies. They don't actually, we're not actually seeing into a galaxy far, far away a long time ago when we're watching Star Wars. This is movies. And then also the best supporting actress nomination, I think was like completely and utterly valid. I haven't really extensively looked at the other people in that category yet, so stay tuned for my Oscars predictions video where I always get it really wrong, just to see what I think of the other actresses in that category, and have me make my predictions. So with that being said, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you are notified when my Oscars prediction video comes up. Additionally, if you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you have any movies that you would like me to go and watch and report back my thoughts on here to you, do let me know in comments. I have quite a cinema heavy couple of weeks coming up, and I'm quite excited about everything that I'm seeing, so that's nice to know. And I've got a couple of movie reviews in the bank ready to roll out to you, so as I say, make sure you've hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on those, and I will see you with my next video. Thanks for watching.